Getting alfalfa established is tremendously important because that seed costs so much money and you're going to leave the stand in for multiple years. So we want to talk today about doing the right things for fertility, for weed control, and seed to soil contact.
Okay, right away, let's just start with seed going in the ground. Are you going to mix something in there? You're going to throw some oats with it or something else to help protect that alfalfa as it comes up? Well, it depends on where you're at and what your goals are for the system. If your goal is I want to raise very fine stemmed, high quality alfalfa, chances are you're not putting anything with it. You're just going straight alfalfa and that's it. Maybe you're in very light soils and you say, I'm extremely worried about sand blowing around and cutting off my alfalfa. I have to put something with it. I understand. There's those choices you've got to make right from the beginning.
Yeah, but keep in mind, you're planting a weed. So it's way easier to raise one crop as opposed to two. So when you're planting a weed, what do we always talk about with weed control? We want it killed off as early as possible. So if you're putting a nurse crop with it, then I'd suggest killing it off as early as possible.
All right, so you let it get up big enough that it can provide that protection and then get rid of that crop. All right, so let's just look at the alfalfa itself. The big thing that we want to get is a very thick stand to start off with. You only get one shot at doing this. And yeah, hopefully you're going to make that stand last 3 years or 4 years, depending on what you're doing in your rotation, maybe longer in your area. But to do that, we've got to have awesome weed control, and it starts with a pre-emerge herbicide. This is where I lose a lot of people across the country, and they're like, what? I don't want to put any pre down. I don't want to take any chance something dings my alfalfa because the seed's really expensive. And also, I really don't know what options are out there, but there are some really good options.
And a lot of people just don't want to spend the money, but we would strongly encourage you, put down some Epton. Half a gallon per acre is pretty much the rate in most areas. You can check with an agronomist by you, but that's the rate we recommend. But it's got to be instantly incorporated. You can't spray it on and work it in an hour later. You've got to put it right on with the digger. We would also encourage you do double incorporation. All Epton is, if you can remember in the old days with corn, there was a product called Eradicane. It's just Eradicane without the corn safener. It's a tremendous product when you only use it once every 5 or 10 years on your farm. It will be lights out.
Then let's move to the fertility, because just like with the weed control, you've got one shot in 3 or 4 years to really do things right. So with P and K, they don't move down well in the soil. So here is your chance to get P and K levels up. And then you can just try to maintain them as you go through the crop, because alfalfa is a heavy remover of P and K from the soil.
Yeah, but honestly, if you say, look, I'm going to take X number of pounds out over the next 4 years, I'd try to put as many of those pounds out as possible up front. I know it's a lot of initial investment, but you'll be able to get by with less fertility that way, and the fertility will be placed right. Get that P and K down 4, 6, 8 inches deep, something like that, where the alfalfa can use it.
The other thing that we haven't discussed yet is just seed to soil contact. When you're putting the seed out there, it's kind of like seeding your lawn. You can't just throw seed out there and have the lawn be all fluffy and expect things to work out right. You've got to put the seed out and get it rolled and packed in there correctly. That way that seed is going to germinate properly and evenly, and you're going to get the whole stand coming up at the same time.
Well, once again, we suggest that you fertilize heavily in the beginning, get some P and K deep, do a good job with weed control by using Epton, and then make sure you have great seed to soil contact. Those are the keys if you want to have a great long-term alfalfa stand.
Well, speaking of weed control, we'll show you how to stop this tough weed coming up next.